Last week on The Presenter,
Walimu wanohadu katika mweno ya kaskazini. I totally murdered and killed the language.
You've done your best, but it's a long journey. And for you, it ends here.
elimination.
So please leave the academy now.
After last week's elimination, 17 contestants remain in the academy. The message has hit home that this is a competition and only the best will be crowned the presenter.
Hello, contestants. Okay, today you're going to learn about something that's very important as a TV personality.
It's another week where the battle for the prestigious presenter title continues. This week, contestants get to learn the basics of camera, sound, and lighting operations. Understanding the technique that goes into operating this equipment is vital to their line of duty.
Today, you are learning about the camera. And we are privileged because we are going to be taught about camera work by somebody who has more than a decade of experience in this. The gentleman I'm about to introduce to you has worked all around in TV. He has been studio technical operator. Remember when Barack Obama came to Kenya as a senator? He was the official cameraman. Let's welcome Mr. George Bwana.
Thank you very much, Eric.
George Bwana is an accomplished camera person with vast experience in the television and film industries in Kenya and beyond. With over 15 years in media, George prides himself of many accomplishments. Participation in the 2012 FIFA World Cup in South Africa as a cameraman, part of the inaugural Kenyan crew to do live broadcasts of the Kenya Premier League and other sporting events for pay TV channel Supersport, camera crew for the Mnet show African Idols, among many others. Contestants are keen to jot down every single detail that will give them an edge over their fellow contestants when time comes to perform their weekly task.
Eric mentioned that we're going to be talking about two very fundamental aspects of television. I wish to add the third one. We talked about basic camera sound techniques. We're also going to be talking about lighting, because with the camera and the sound, but without the lighting, we have nothing. We have no television. So I'll start with the sound. There are three major types of microphones that help you get sound: a lapel mic, a boom microphone, and a handheld mic. We'll start off with a lapel mic. A lapel mic is similar to what I'm wearing now here. How do you clip on a lapel mic onto yourself or onto your guest ahead of an interview?
He mentions the importance of wearing outfits that a lapel microphone can easily be clipped on.
Lapel mic. Is it on?
Something most contestants marvel at.
We learned a lot from everything, from how to set up a mic and everything, but you're not really prepared for how to handle the microphone.
I learned how to use the camera, I learned how to do the sound, and how to, the different types of mics.
How many of us know what this thing is?
Contestants are also trained on basic outdoor and indoor lighting. They learn how to use a reflector to eliminate shadows and illuminate a subject, as well as the importance of choosing a perfect background for an interview.
The best and worst times to shoot is in the morning, when the sun is still very low, or very late in the evening. In television, it's called magic hour. The sun is not very harsh and it's not overhead.
George Bwana then trains the contestants on how to use key light and backlight in an interview setup. He further demonstrates how to enrich a plain set by adding props to make it aesthetically appealing.
We are trying to make our flower kill the background, the monotony, the white monotonous thing that we don't like.
Well, the training session with George Bwana, I can say, was eye-opening. rather fast, but you have to be keen and get all the details with whatever he is saying.
The training was amazing. Yeah, though short, but it made me know so many things.
We want to go to the actual thing, the camera.
The coach also demonstrates how the camera works,
It's called a tripod. It's a
how to attach and balance it on a tripod, compose shots, and eventually film.
There are several types of shots.
He explains the types and relevance of different shots ranging from long, medium to close-ups. After the basic training, contestants get to pose questions on areas they did not understand.
Any question?
Hello, my name is Frida. You had talked about a piece two. I don't understand what that means.
It's called a piece to camera. Piece to camera is you have been sent to Parliament building to cover the official opening of Parliament in 2016. When you hold that microphone out there, out of Parliament building or inside the gallery, you are doing a piece to camera. Sometimes you choose to sign off, to do the end of the story, where you say now your name. Frida Sunday, reporting for KTN at Parliament building. That's a sign off. Still a piece to camera, but you're signing off.
I talked of the two types of reflectors, silver and white. When is it really convenient to use both? When the silver and the white?
The time of the day, the lighting of the situation where you're filming will determine whether you want to use the silver side or the white side. The silver side, as you saw, is much stronger than the white side.
I want to ask about when you're shooting outdoor and, for example, let's say you're presenting and there are a couple of people behind you, either looking directly into the camera or perhaps teasing the camera. What do you normally do to avoid such?
As your cameraman is setting up, he's taking the cover shot. You are holding the KTN microphone as a reporter or a producer. These people always want to be on TV, and they're human beings. Talk to them. Talk to them nicely. Create a rapport with them. Tell them, guys, I've come here to do a story about your situation here. It's all in your interest.
I did pick up things about getting to build that rapport, building something with your interviewee when conducting interviews, getting them to open up about what they literally do day in, day out.
After a well-deserved training session, the 15 contestants who are eligible for elimination are divided into 5 random groups consisting of 3 members. Each group will utilize as talent the 2 who won immunity last week, Jamal and Rose.
That does not mean I get to relax, because everybody out there is still working on their games and totally bringing their A game on board. So I still have to really work hard.
I'm not gonna sit back and because I have an immune to relax. I'm not gonna relax. I'm going to work harder and harder.
The reality of the elimination is very unsettling. The contestants realize that none of them is safe. Will they all ace this challenge, or is this the end of the road for some of them? For this and much more after the break, stay tuned.
So this week in the Presenter Academy, we decided to coach them on 3 very key components of being a good presenter and working in a TV station, and that's lighting, camera, and sound. And that's why we got the expert himself, Mr. George Bwana. He came and he had a very good session with them, and then talked them about lighting, talked them about sound, how to set up a shot, how to remember what to carry when you're going on the field. Are you doing your interview indoors or outdoors? What kind of shot should you consider? And after that, now we give them challenges. So we broke them into groups, 5 groups of 3 each. And remember, we have 2 people who had immunity, and that's Rose and Jamal. And so we said Rose and Jamal are not going to be part of this group. What they'll be is they'll be resource persons. Any group that needs to use somebody as an interviewer or an interviewee, you're going to use either Rose or Jamal. So we broke them out into groups, and we give them different tasks. Okay. So let's look at what they did.
After the group's formation, Coach George Bwana and Judge Eric Latif give each group their task, upon which they pick equipment and move with jet-like speed to start.
Are you ready? We have group number 1 here. Okay. We want to know what task will you take?
I will be in charge of the camera.
I'll be in charge of the sound.
And I will be in charge of the lighting.
Great, all the best.
Group 1, tasked with conducting a studio set interview with a seated guest, seem to be taking a lot of time, and their snail-like pace doesn't please the coach.
Short. Then it actually portrays.
Why take too much time setting up? As you have no time. Remember, you have only 10 minutes.
I felt like, you know, when you're in a burning house and your hands are actually tied, that is exactly how I felt, because I felt like we could do more as a group.
Nilipofika, nilianza kabisa kudungulia lile kipaza sauti, na pia ule mtu ambaye alikuwa tunamhoji nika make sure kuwa nimeweka sauti vizuri.
It's going to sound a bit silly, but the challenging part for me was not even the setup of the camera and making sure it's at eye level. Was finding the record button. There's too many buttons on the camera. I didn't expect it to be that hard to find the record button.
We had a key light, we had a backlight. In setting up a background, we had a nice flower there to kill the white monotony.
I was a bit disappointed with this particular group because they took all the time trying to set up. Number one, trying to argue on what to do. Secondly, setting up. And then the camera person struggled to find the record button.
Why are we even talking about this group? Didn't I not hear that they actually didn't record anything?
Record. Oh, yeah.
You know, it's because they spent the entire 10 minutes trying to set up the choice of where to do the interview, conduct the interview. The background was all glaring and white. You could hardly see the subject.
To me, Charlie is a guy who really seemed like he was working hard and just dying with those flower pots and stuff.
Group number 2 was supposed to go outside the Standard Group Center gates and conduct Vox Pop. Basically just interview people who were walking on the streets.
I'm doing sound.
I'm the camera woman.
I'm the producer.
Group 2, tasked with recording vox pops in a busy, noisy environment, seem to have their act together.
I am here with Judy, a lady who works on Mombasa Road. She's just about to inform us on how dangerous it is for her to cross the roads on Mombasa Road without the much-needed footbridges. Sasa Judy,
Poa sana.
how do you feel about working on Mombasa Road bila footbridge ya kuvuka barabara na usalama?
No safe.
Unaweza ambia county government ya Nairobi nini juu ya hiyo story?
Atutengenezee tu bridge ya kuvuka.
Okay, so very few words there from Judy, a concerned party, right here on Mombasa Road, telling us and telling the county government of Nairobi how important it is to construct footbridges for people to cross from one end to the other. Asante sana, Judy. Thank you so much.
The level of teamwork we had was very high. We didn't bump heads at any time. Everybody did exactly what they were supposed to do.
One thing I noted is that they kept saying, cut, cut, cut. And while that's a great thing for Sharon, because she was behind the camera and she could tell that there's no sound that's coming through, but I think that the producer, before going up there to start, Richard Onyango and this, he should have ensured that everything in the production is working.
But also with Sharon, again,
quietly, you mean?
no
Like,
cleavage.
Fika Palace,
You know, I have issues with wardrobe again. I mean, they have to know this is a job interview.
What if she was to be on camera and she has to wear the lapel mic?
Exactly.
Where do you clip the lapel mic with your cleavage all popping out?
Would you have that person do for you a piece to camera?
Where?
Group number 3, these are the ones who were supposed to interview a subject who does not want their identity revealed.
I am the producer stroke lighter. He is the cameraman and he is the sound guy.
Group 3, tasked with conducting an interview where the subject's identity is concealed, seem to have employed a safer strategy.
So that's what I'm saying. His back needs to be towards the sun because that's what we were told. So the camera needs to be here. 5, 4, 3.
Walinitesa tu sana. Hata hii ni alama, wamenikatakata na kisu na waliniambia nikule chakula, wananiweka pamoja na ubwa, nakula chakula na ubwa, alafu wananishika wananipiga usiku.
Shukran sana mtazamaji. Kumbuka ni makala yetu siku ya pili. Leo tunaleta kutoka Saudi Arabia.
I think we did pretty good. We handled it well. He was named anonymous for the story.
It was a nice experience. It was good to learn something. And wind and sun and shadows, it's a lot to, absorb, but hopefully I did it well.
Simon was amazing on camera. He did a fantastic job.
Stood out.
Seriously, Frida dropped the ball because she was supposed to be in charge of lighting.
Yes, she failed. She did not carry the reflector. But when she gets there, she takes charge. She's like, all right, put the camera here. That's why she's walking and seeing, is the camera okay? She's walking back and seeing, is the mic fine? So Abula just does the interview. Shall we move to group number 4?
Sure.
A strike is taking place, and they're supposed to go there and do a live link to the studio.
I'll be doing camera work, making the movie magic happen.
I'll be handling the sound.
And I'm in charge of lighting. So we have to just do it in here, but outdoor.
Group 4 chose to use Jamal as a talent in their task, which is to record a live studio link from a site where a strike is taking place.
Okay, just try covering him again.
Action.
Nikiwa katika chuo kikuu cha Nairobi University, na hivi mtazamaji unavyoona ndio uharibifu wa mali, na hii nikiwa ni gari ambalo ni la mwalimu mkuu wa chuo hicho ambalo limeweza kuharibika, na ukiona ni moshi unaona mkubwa ambao umetanda, uharibifu wa mali mtazamaji, na kuna maskari hivyo umetokea mtazamaji, na wanaweza kurusha vilipoa machozi mpaka mtazamaji. Hii ndio hali kwa sasa katika ground tulioko. Nikiripotia KTN ni mimi Jamal Gaddafi. No one will allow you to be stable and shooting at a stable scenario like that. That's why you use our shoulder. Moving with me and not having this microphone. I have a lapel.
I was a reporter and I acted as a reporter. I couldn't stand there. There were tear gases and everything, so I could move, and guys were complaining why I would do that.
Actually, we had the hardest topic, if you look at it in a very clever way, because the others are in a controlled environment. We're in an uncontrolled environment. We have to create a situation.
We were initially going to put a shade on our reporter, but we figured out since it's a bit of an event that's going on, a strike to be precise, we opted to just go with the natural lighting.
I think Tandai did a fantastic job. He was again in charge. He's a cameraman, he's a producer. You can see him discussing with his team although they missed the plot at some point. The brief was that you go out there and cover a strike happening. But when you get on location, they decide to cover a strike that has just ended.
Actually, in Jamal's mind, the strike was still going on, but in the minds of the other people.
I didn't like how he took over that set. Much as, yes, the flip side is, it feels like, yes, we're a team, we want the best product. But when a camera person, especially a cameraman, especially if you get a nasty, arrogant one like George, for all of us who work with him.
And then you come and take the camera from him and tell him, you should hold the camera here.
You'll be buried alive.
Jamal does make an important point. Like, if you are actually in a riot situation, you don't have too much time to do all these tripod things. And so he's actually trying to explain to this guy.
So it's one thing to direct a professional cameraman on what to do, but how you do it.
How you do it as well.
Matters.
I must also mention Peter Kamau, the lighting guy, who, after forgetting the reflector, but he gets onto location and he realizes that, we don't have a reflector. Although it wasn't very necessary, but he decides to be innovative. He picks a reflective surface and he decides to make it a reflector.
So let's see group number 5. These ones are the ones who were supposed to go to the standard group press. They find a senior supervisor and they do a walking interview.
I will be a producer and the lighting.
I'm in charge of sound.
The camera lady.
All the ladies are just doing camera work. Okay.
Group 5, tasked with conducting a walking interview in a noisy printing press, seemed to have started on a bad foot. Lighting and camera work seemed to not be a walk in the park. This is not impressive at all to the coach, especially after the training on lighting.
3, 2, 1, take one, let's roll it.
Today, one of the supervisors is going to enlighten us precisely on what happens for these newspapers to get to the market. Please come with me as I give you a comprehensive interview.
Please kindly tell us your name and what exactly you do on this particular place.
Yes, my name is Fred. Tutors here normally receive the returns. whatever that is going to the market.
This particular point, I'm looking for someone to firstly guide me. Sir, please tell me your name and what exactly you do here in your normal days.
My name is Geoffrey Kisi. I work in the circulation department. I'm the one who ensures that everyone in the field gets the orders.
But it's up to you now to get your daily newspaper, your daily standard newspaper every day, as this particular office and many other departments are very equipped in ensuring that each and every citizen in the country gets this standard newspaper.
I was able to take an establishing shot from the outside to create to give an impression of where we actually are.
I did do a piece to camera which I believe I effectively managed to hack.
I was supposed to come with the lights, but I didn't come with the lights. According to my understanding, I thought maybe since people are working inside here, there's going to be a lot of lighting.
Overall, they didn't do a very good job because they probably looked like they didn't get the brief right. Number one, they ended up interviewing anybody they came across.
They started with a guard at the entrance.
So, but it would be interesting to find out how the group came up with this idea that it was Davis who was going to stand in front of the camera and start talking in there. Then, because when they were leaving, there were only 3 roles that were assigned. There was a camera person, there was a sound person, and a lighting person. And I think that the lighting person was doubling up as the producer.
I also think the lighting was pathetic. I mean, they didn't have light. So the producer, who was also acting as
Michael Kiprono.
What was he doing? Just following the camera lady. So it was quite irrelevant.
He counted them down before they entered the building.
We're going in 5, 4, 3, 2.
It may have seemed like an easy challenge, but when we return, the judges will be sending some contestants home. Who will it be? Stay tuned for more after the break. Welcome back. The fate of these contestants lies in the hands of 3 judges and a coach who have keenly been following their progress.
Contestants, there are a couple of questions that we have to ask, and which indeed you must ask yourselves. Let's start with group number 1.
Angela, Frida, and Charlie. Yours was the ultimate fail because you didn't even manage to record anything. You were supposed to record an interview and you did not. You spent the entire 10 minutes trying to figure out where the guest should sit. In our view, all of you should go home. But that is if we are unable to figure out whose fault it was. So who is it? Who made the group fail?
Something went horribly wrong with one person that made the whole group fail, because we each tried to help each other a lot, and everybody did what they could to the best of their knowledge.
Personally, I can say I'm proud of what our group did. We might not have done the best, but what we achieved together, like working together as a group, I am personally proud of that. And
together to do what, Charlie? You didn't record anything. That is the ultimate thing. I mean, you do an interview so that you can put it on air. You didn't record anything. So what was that teamwork about?
It's not in my capability to say who should go home, because I believe we worked as a team. For us going home, I think it is in your stand.
Group number 2, please step forward.
So how do you think you performed?
In terms of teamwork, I feel like we did pretty good because all of us helped each other with what we were supposed to do.
What did you help in?
With the camera work and with getting the interviewees, we all worked as a team to do that.
What was your role?
I was in charge of sound.
So what were you doing with camera work?
Teamwork.
So your sound was perfect?
No, it wasn't.
So what was your role, Richard?
I was the producer. I came up with the concept as well as the one taking the
You came up with what concept?
The story for what we were supposed to report and collect the vox pops.
So you were producer only?
I was producer, but like she said, like I was always on camera asking her if, you know, she's recording, if the light is good, if the sound is okay. I was constantly asking her.
So was light good because you were also in charge of lighting?
I could say, according to us, we delivered.
And for you, Sharon, we kept hearing cut, 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 and you're doing vox pops, as if the people on the streets have time to wait for you to get your act in order.
I was in charge of the camera. My colleague here, Michelle, was the one with the cut. Yeah.
So who among the three of you should be going home?
I can stand here and say, we gave our best. We tried.
All right.
Group number 3, your task was to go outside, it's an outdoors environment, have an interview with a subject whose identity is not revealed. How did you perform?
Nilikuwa nahusika na sauti.
So what did you do with sound?
Kwanza nilihakikisha kuwa kuna kile kidubasha ambacho kinachukua sauti. Kitu cha kwanza nilihakikisha kuwa na kiwasha, kuhakikisha kuwa kinanasa ile sauti ya yule ambaye tunamhoji na mimi pia ambaye nilikuwa namhoji.
Frida, you were the producer as well.
Yes, I was.
And you were also in charge of lighting?
Yes, I was.
Who proposed that you leave the reflector or light?
We made a group decision. What I did is I proposed that we should use it, and we made a decision.
Who proposed not to?
It was a group decision.
Who proposed not to?
It was a group decision.
And as a producer, you take responsibility for that decision?
As a producer, I take responsibility for both the good and the bad.
In your opinion, as a camera person,
yes, sir.
Do you think you were able to conceal the identity of your subject?
Yes, we were, because we gave it an over-the-head shot of the shoulder, so that we could make sure that we don't even show. We just showed his ear. Yeah, we're just showing his ear and the back of his head. We're able to conceal it.
Let's have group number 4.
The editor sent you to cover an ongoing riot, right? Is that so?
Yes.
You decided to cover a riot that has already happened. Whose decision was that? Tendai?
Okay, now, if we just can go back a bit on exactly what we're supposed to do necessarily. Now, we have to make it look believable. In our scenario, we do not have, first of all, the actual people to show that, yes, there was a riot going on here. And what we did is we looked at surroundings, like you told us, to utilize each and every surrounding we have to our abilities. And we managed to have a wrecked car and a burning smoke in the background, which miraculously actually happened.
I can clearly remember that Jamal was running up and down, trying to depict the scenario of a riot going on. So the cameraman also was up with the camera, running up and about to try and get that. So I think we did a good job.
Peter, you were supposed to be in charge of lighting in a riot situation.
I was supposed to kill the exposure, which I tried to do. But as he mentioned, our reporter was all over the place, which that became a bit of a hard task to accomplish.
Who should go home tonight?
Okay, if I had to say who should go home today, would be like asking a student to take another student's exam.
Group number 5, can we have you here?
Davis, Michael, and Zainab, your assignment was simple. Go to the standard group printing press, find the senior supervisor, and interview him or possibly her on how the operation works. You went there. There was so much drama with Michael counting people down as if it was a sting operation. You interviewed literally everyone you could come across. The producer, Michael, that was you, right?
Yes, that's right.
So after counting people down, you did nothing else. And there was so much going on in there. There was no lighting. For some reason, you hadn't carried the light, and this was an indoor shoot. So it was all dark in there. We could see images of people behind computers, and Davis, who was supposed to be the sound guy, jumped in front of the camera and was interviewing literally everybody around and asking them what they do around there and that sort of thing. In our view, all of you deserve to go home.
I agree with you.
Why should you stay here?
Because I need to learn more about this.
Because you failed a production. You were the producer.
Yeah, I carry all the
All
burdens.
you did was count people down to enter a building.
I agree with you, sir.
Zainab?
Sir, to be honest, the light that was there was too big. Yes, I'm being honest with you. It was really huge.
Okay. Too big for Michael, too big for even Davis. These guys look really strong. Davis, what happened?
My argument is that we all wanted to learn at that particular time, in each and every docket.
Who decided that you should stand in front of the camera and abandon your sound duties?
We consulted, and it was a mutual agreement.
So let me just get it right. Michael, did I hear you say that you'll take 100% responsibility? You're willing to go home? Putting yourself on the altar? Go home. We have the two of you. Just step back. Rose and Jamal, we promised you immunity last time. You worked with all the teams, the ones that came to you. You worked with a couple of them. And we need somebody to go home. Jamal, you had an argument with the crew that hired you for the job. We need someone to go. Give us a name.
Alihusika na kamera akasema yeko kwenye triple stamp. Nadhani nimekosea.
Nani huyo?
Tendai and Richard.
Tendai.
Nilipatia kazi ngumu ule alihusika na kamera na sound.
Okay.
Ndio iko kwenye shida.
Give us two names. Thank you. Rose?
I was supposed to be interviewed. And the interview wouldn't have happened if the camera was not on.
Was the camera on?
The camera took a while to be on, and the sound likewise still.
You're telling us that the person who was handling the camera, when you review the tape, that person, in your opinion, doesn't deserve to be in the academy. Angela Njoki was in charge of camera. You think she should go home?
Facts to tell. Camera work was wrong. So if that is the fault, then be it.
Thank you. Is there anyone who would like to volunteer and leave the academy tonight? Then let's make this quick. Angela Njoki, please step forward.
Angela, it's an insult to any production to go out on location and come back with nothing. A lot of investment is made to send crews out. We don't accept excuses for not having your camera on. Everything else is set apart from the camera going on. It's for that reason you leave the academy now.
Abul Ahmed.
You did not do your job. You are meant to be doing sound. But your teammates covered you. But at the end of the day, you had a production. And because of that, you are on.
Michelle Ngele.
We are impressed that you thought that it was a good idea to stop a production if it's not going right. We think you don't deserve to leave the academy just yet. Your mic is still on.
Peter Kamau, as judges, we saw what you did. We saw the fact that you improvised.
Yes.
We were impressed by that. But you were able to think on your feet and come up with something to make the job get done. Your mic is on.
Thank you.
But I have Simon Mondi.
Having looked at what you did, you're not going home yet. Your mic is still on.
Thank you, sir.
Tendai, Jamal says you should go home. What do you think?
It makes no sense for the reporter to tell the videographer what to do because he has been trained for that particular task. He's supposed to listen to what the producer is telling him, and he failed to do so. Instead, he decided to run around like a chicken without a head, really, and cause us to be all over the place. Since we saw this chap was refusing to stay in one place, we decided to not going to use this thing as a stabilizer and roll with him, you know.
As a producer, you understand, yes, you call the shots, but also you have to involve your team. Your mic is still on. Charlie Karumi.
Charlie,
Yes, ma'am.
you were the best amongst your team. You ended up not recording, but you're very industrious. We could see effort, we acknowledge it, we appreciate it. And it's for that reason that your mic is still on.
Thank you.
Davis, we had no sound. We could not hear you. But we could see your face. Walk around. You went around interviewing the wrong people. You were meant to interview the man in charge. You interviewed the guard. Please, do you remember to do your primary objective? Stick to it.
Yes, please.
For today, Davis, your mic is off.
Thank you.
You may leave the academy now, Davis.
Zainab, we have reviewed the footage of what you did as Group 5. And the only thing, Zainab, that stands out is that there was a picture that we could see. For that reason, your mic is still on.
Let's have Frida Sunday.
The only thing we liked is you were in everyone's business. We saw you trying to help the camera person. We saw you trying to check the sound. Basically, you took up the role of a producer. But the next time, we shall not give you an opportunity to make assumptions. The mic is still on.
Thank you.
Frida Mwaka, you performed under par. But we judged you based on what you tried to do, which is the fact that you tried to help with camera work. But this you should consider as your last chance, because your mic is still on.
Thank you very much.
Richard, you love to see yourself on TV, and everything went horribly wrong. And as a producer, you are in charge of all those things. And coincidentally, you are also in charge of lighting, Richard. But because, Richard, you are working under extremely difficult circumstances, your mic is on.
Oh God, you're just wrong.
If you do not have a mic, please step forward.
You both have at least 60 seconds to tell us why you still deserve a chance to be here.
I'm here now, 5 weeks later, pleading to you to give me another opportunity to learn more. When I first came here, I didn't have self-esteem as much as I have now. I used to look down upon myself. But now, after I watched you guys and listened to you guys, I got to see that not unless you believe in yourself, you won't go anywhere.
As Jamal had pointed out, we needed a lapel mic. But at the moment, we had chosen to use this type of microphone because of the idea which we had to go and accomplish.
From reviewing what you did and hearing from the people that you worked with, you failed, Frederick. You failed. You did not have the right microphone for the job that you were going for. You had a cord microphone instead of a wireless one. You did not figure that out before you went to the field. And for that reason, you failed your team. Frederick, please leave the academy now.
Sharon, the one thing that stood out with you and with a few of your colleagues was dress code. When you're sent out to a professional environment, you have to look the part. We cannot have your cleavage out. So watch out for that. Your mic is still on.
Thank you so much.
Could you please have the two people with immunity come to the front? The two of you impressed us, and that's why you placed your immunity. How you performed in helping out this task, in working with your teammates, your colleagues, has forced us to review our decision to place you on immunity. And we've decided to waive that immunity. And having considered as well that you still worked hard, we have decided to reinstate immunity for Rose. So you still have 2 weeks immunity. 1 more elimination show, you need your immune. And as for you, Jamal, how you worked with the team. It was clear from that unit that you had your own mind. It was clear from how they produced that you were not working together. Yet you were the most important person to the audience in that group. Your immunity is over. You stay on the show. But depending on how you work, you're liable for elimination in the next show. Tendai, please come forward. Drop the jacket, drop the mic. So you're now exposed. Your good luck charm is no more. You're now ready to depend on your hard work to compete. No more juju. You get immunity. The next elimination show.
Contestants, it's either you want this or you don't. It's not a game, and our time is not yours to waste. If you're going to be given an assignment, it's a do or die situation. It's because you've been entrusted to perform that assignment in excellence. But you cannot make assumptions. The light was too heavy to carry. Or we didn't think we needed this, so we left it. You are not professionals. You do not know. So there's a very big difference between cocky and confident. And you have to learn what that difference is. Very thin line. So take this seriously.
The camera was my job. So I think it's all right. I couldn't find the power button. I'm out. I'm going home. Sounds fair.
This is a challenge. It's a first step, and I'm taking it positively, as I strongly affirm it is going to open many doors for me in my life.
Let me tell you one thing. There is nobody's perfect, isn't it? If given this chance, maybe somewhere else or something, or maybe on another television or something, I believe you may now have learned something. I'll be able to deliver. I'll be able to do it to my level best. That is all I can say.
I did my best, but I guess the judges had the final decision and they took it.
Standing in line, marking time, waiting for the welfare dime. 'Cause they can't buy a job. The man in the silk suit hurries by as he catches the poor old lady's eyes. Just for fun, he says, get a job. That's just the way it is. Some things will never change. That's just the way it is. Ah, but don't you believe them? Said, hey little boy, you can't go where the others go. 'Cause you don't look like they do. Said, hey old man, how can you stand to think that way? Did you really think about it before you made the rules? He said so. That's just the way it is. Some things have never changed.